Hi there, my name is sweetxsage. I am a cozy content creator and I focus a lot on cozy indie games. My YouTube channel is mostly focused on those type of games, doing reviews, things like that. But I also do stream on Twitch. So if you're interested in seeing any of these games be played or have more recommendations for me and you would like to tell me live, I'm over there on Twitch at sweetxsage. So today's video, if you can't tell, is about games that have made me cry, but also a lot of my friends cry as well. We're just gonna jump right into the list. The first game that I have for you, I actually did a full review on my channel before, and the game is called Before Your Eyes. I really do want to do like a redo of the game. Like I want to play it back to remember every little aspect of it, but the basis of this game is that you are a traveler, an unknown person who is talking to, it looks like, some version of a cat, and you're trying to tell him the story of your life and how you passed away and everything that went in between that. Now, without getting too detailed and without spoiling anything, the coolest thing about this game is that it has a new type of feature that I haven't seen before in a video game. And basically what you're doing is you watch the screen, you have your camera on, and the camera picks up every single time that you blink. Whenever you blink, when you're watching a specific scene, it actually goes forward into the next scene, into the next story. So the longer you keep your eyes open, the more information that you can get about the game, basically, and about the storyline. That is pretty much Before Your Eyes. If you are interested in seeing a full review of the game, you can go check it out. The link will be somewhere on the screen. The next game that I wanted to talk about is called Spiritfarer. I think everyone knows about this game. It is extremely adorable, so heartfelt, and I cried, I think, 10 times during the full playing of that game, to be honest with you. We played the game on stream, and it was a lovely, lovely experience. I just finished the game not too long ago, about a month ago or so. The basis of the story is that you are Stella, basically helping these spirits that are on the other side, or they go to the other side after they have passed away. These are all characters that you know, which is very interesting from Stella's life, and you are giving them certain foods that they like, you're helping them build their house, and you're essentially just making life comfortable for them. You get to learn more about their life, the things that they struggled with, maybe even some of the regrets that they have or don't have. I found out that the game devs actually based a lot of these characters around their family and friends. Let that sink in. They're real people. Even after you have to let them go to the other side, it gets so much more heartfelt. So that is Spiritfarer. The next one that I'm going to talk about is called Röki. It's another amazing game that I played on stream. Röki is a game that has to do a lot with Scandinavian lore. It's very interesting because I don't really see a lot of games that are focused on other cultures. I cry a lot when I see a character who is so young, and maybe not even young, a lot of times just a normal character. Whenever I see a character struggle and they don't care that they're struggling, they care about the result, always makes me cry because I love seeing determination in other people. It's something that I struggle with myself, so seeing it in other people kind of gives me inspiration to do it myself. So Röki was one of those games. Main character is on her stuff. She is doing everything that she possibly can to help get her brother back. I don't want to spoil anything with that game as well. So it's basically just a story of a girl who is looking for her brother in the wilderness, and she's helping this beautiful, beautiful forest kind of reconnect with themselves. You help the mother tree reconnect with her children. You help the forest creatures reconnect with each other. So it's just a huge story of family, forgiveness, love, genuine love, even with the villains in the story or the antagonists in the story. There's a lot to learn from them as well. So it's an all-around beautiful game. It has beautiful messages throughout, and I think it was just such a joy to play. And yes, I cried, I think 3 times during the playing of that one. So I hope you really like Röki. The next game that I'm going to talk about is called Gris. Gris is another beautiful, beautiful game. It has an amazing art style, absolutely gorgeous music. And if you haven't heard of this one before, it is basically a story of grief and going through the stages of grief. It makes it a lot more visual for you to understand loss and pain and hurt, but also understanding and accepting of things that you might have lost. This was absolutely gorgeous. I think the story was very beautiful. It's one of those games where it doesn't tell you directly, hey, this is what happened. This happened to this person. They lost this and now they're really, really sad. It's more of a visual art piece where you're watching and you're playing along and you're realizing like, oh, this is pain. Okay, this is understanding. This is acceptance. Like, okay, this is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And the gameplay itself was actually really, really easy and really fun. Definitely cried at the end of that one, just because it's pretty easy to make me cry, to be honest with you. I loved that game so much, and I hope that you enjoy it as well. The next game that I'm going to talk about was actually the first game that I ever played on Nintendo Switch, so I want to give a huge thank you to the game dev who created the first tree. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous game, and I bawled my little eyes out. So the first tree is about a fox mother who is looking for her babies. You are traveling around in this really beautiful, beautiful scenery, and you're looking for your lost children. But while you're doing that, you are also listening to the story of the narrator and how they grew up, and their relationship with their father, and their relationship with themselves and with people around them. So it has to do with their partner and how their partner experienced life and what they had to do with going through their grief and going through their struggles in life as well. And this was actually one of the games that made me realize that I wanted to play these types of games, thought-provoking and feeling and emotional games on Twitch, so that I could set a tone for people to understand themselves better and to understand other people better. The first tree is one of those games that do that and do it in a very beautiful, beautiful way. Like I said, this is a game that is on Nintendo Switch. I do not remember if it is on any other platform, but of course that's going to be somewhere on the screen for you. The next game that I have for you is called Sayonara Wild Hearts. Sayonara Wild Hearts is a gold mine. I loved it. I adored it. I love the music in the game. I love the narrator, who actually happens to be Queen Latifah. I was very surprised to find that out. I love everything about the game, the mechanics, just everything. And I cried at the end. And technically, I know that this probably isn't going to be a tearjerker for everyone, but the message was absolutely stupendous. And I'm not going to ruin it for you, but I will say that if you are a person who's an empath, if you're very empathetic towards others, but if you are somebody that cries to Disney movies, you might cry to this one as well. I cried knowing that I saw myself in the main character a lot. It's a visual album, so the music is stupendous. I actually listen to the game music when I'm cleaning and when I'm in my car sometimes. You are this woman who is going through like dimensions, basically, to fight what I can only describe to be as horoscopes, or the personification of what horoscopes would be. And you're going through this trying to get as many hearts as you possibly can. So if you're really good at arcade games, or you're interested in arcade type games, this might be a game for you. But just know, you might cry. You might cry when you realize what the story is actually about. The next game that I have for you, I think, is on everyone's list of games that will make you cry, and this list is no different. The Walking Dead Telltale series. I cannot express how emotional this game will make you. Now, if you're not a crier, if you don't cry to anything, you might not cry to this, and I get it, okay? Congratulations, you don't cry. If you have not seen the Walking Dead series, you don't know anything about the show or the comics, the Walking Dead Telltale series focuses on Lee, who is a guy who's on his way to jail, actually, or prison technically, for murder, because he allegedly killed the person that his wife or girlfriend was cheating on him with. It's a long game. There's multiple seasons, so if I'm remembering the details incorrectly, I apologize. But you go through the story of him trying to protect this little girl, and her name is Clementine. You were trying to protect her from what, you may ask? Zombies. it's the apocalypse, so just zombies everywhere. You have to make split-second decisions on who you're going to save, how you're going to proceed, what you're going to do, what you're going to pack, what you're going to tell Clementine, and what you're going to say to everybody else. What lies are you going to tell? What truths are you going to tell? How far are you going to go? How many times is you or Clementine going to die? That's up to you. That's 100% up to you. A lot of the Telltale games are absolutely perfect when it comes to what do you do next style of games, and this game is absolutely no different. So without spoiling anything, that is that game. The next game I have for you is one that is fairly new that a lot of people have been hopping on. It is called Unpacking. It is a super cute game that you are unpacking and organizing different apartments and homes of our main character. You are literally unpacking boxes in each of their spaces, and you're trying to figure out what goes where, what would be perfect in this area. But as you're doing that, it's telling you a story, because of course you can walk around somebody's house and find out a lot about them. For example, if you look behind me right now, you can see a teacup plushie, which, by the way, there's only like one of 30. It's freaking adorable. There's also a turned around blue chicken. So from these you can tell that I like really cute games. So Stardew Valley and Teacup, super cute. You can also see that I have a Switch here. So I probably play a lot of games. I'm a gamer. So seeing the different places that our main character lives in is so interesting, because you get to find out so much about her. The reason that you cry in this story is not sad at all. It's actually a very happy ending, which is why a lot of us cry to it, especially people within the LGBTQ community, because there is a little bit of representation there, and I don't want to spoil it, but there is some representation there. So that game is absolutely adorable. It is fairly easy to get through, and there's no right or wrong way to do everything. And again, that game is called Unpacking, and I hope you enjoy it. The next game that I have for you is called What Comes After. This is one of the games that I played most recently, and it is so freaking sad but so happy at the same time. I think one thing that a lot of us shy away from is the idea of death. For this game, it took the topic of death and made it into something so natural, and not like it's the end of everything, but rather it's just a part of our journey, and it's a part of our life. You are the main character. Her name is Vivi, and you are walking around talking to everybody about their final thoughts before they have to go on to the other side. So you are talking to them. Some of them give you really great advice. Some of them don't really feel like talking. And because of that, it makes this so realistic. You're walking around this train and talking to people, and a lot of them just do not feel like talking to you. There's not only adult humans that are on that subway, so it makes it really interesting to talk to other creatures that have been alive at some point. So the story is really interesting. It has a little bit of humor in there to make sure that it's not super melancholy the entire time. But by the end of the story, I was rethinking the way that I think about life and rethinking the way that I think about myself. So it did its job in invoking some type of emotion within me and also within my community as we watched it together. I think it was absolutely beautiful. I love the art style. I love everything else about this game, and I think it would be very interesting and very fun for you to play for yourself. And again, that is called What Comes After. The next game that I have for you is called Florence. Florence is a very short game, but a very cute game about falling in love for the first time. Florence is someone who is 25 years old. She is kind of experiencing love for the first time, and the game takes you through all of the ups, the downs, the bad, the really bad, and the okay side of what a relationship is, whether you are growing into it or growing apart. It's very raw and very realistic when it comes to what romance really is, and what I've been told and what I have seen already. It is a very cute and heartfelt story. This is a game that is not really looked at that often because of how short it is, but sometimes the shortest stories have the best messages, and it's definitely something that you should be checking out. And the last game that I have for you is a beautiful game that I played sometime last year that is called Luna and the Shadow Dust. It is absolutely adorable and it is such a cool story. You follow the story of this young boy with super cute little bunny ears, and you are basically solving puzzles on the way up this huge tower. You get to learn about this brand new culture and the songs that they produced and everything else about them, and you slowly start to realize what the story actually means and what actually happened to the main character and even the side character. You get to play with this super cute little dog cat creature thing as well. Is a game where you go back and forth between the two characters to solve all the puzzles, which makes it extremely fun. I love those type of games. As you get closer to the end, it does get really hard. But that is my list of games that will make you cry. Again, a lot of these games are available on your Nintendo Switch, but some of them are only available on your PC, Xbox, PlayStation, that type of thing. But again, I'll have a list of all of the links to where you can get the games in the description down below. There's one or two games that I haven't had a chance to play myself yet, but all the other games came straight off the dome. They're games that I absolutely loved, and I've cried my little heart away from playing, and I hope that you really enjoy them and that you learn something from each of those games and that you pass on what you've learned to other people as well. But that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!